Hello, this is Commander Lucosa with a very impromptu video. Consider this my good deed for the millennium. For those of you who are in and around the area of Sol, if you get any missions asking you to deliver anything to Hutton Orbital, which is in Alpha Centauri, do not, under any circumstances whatsoever, accept it. Why? Well, when you first arrive at Alpha Centauri, you come out of hyperspace around Alpha Centauri A. Hutton Orbital is orbiting Proxima Centauri, and Hutton Orbital is 0.22 light years away. Now, when I first arrived, it didn't register that it was saying light years, so I thought, oh, I'm right on top of it. And going relatively slow, I was wondering why it was showing my ETA in days. Then it dawned on me, that's not 0.22 light seconds, it is 0.22 light years. I have been sitting here now for something like 3/4 of an hour, I think. Since this journey started, I have gone down the road to buy another packet of fags. I've been and put the kettle on and made myself a cup of tea, and I still am nowhere near getting there. The distance has only gone down by 0.08 since I started. My speed is currently 1,744 times the speed of light, and if we look at Alpha Centauri, that's where I arrived. It's currently 2,410,000 light seconds away and going up by well over 2,000 light seconds every second. And I am still absolutely nowhere fucking near getting to Hutton Orbital, which is still showing as 0.14 light years. Now, according to my timer, I will get there in 41 minutes. So it is going down a bit faster than, an actual second, but not by a vast amount. So I reckon I've still got a good old half an hour at least before I get there. Now, I do have 1 hour 23 minutes of real time, so I will make it. And all this, and all I'm going to make out of it is 14,000 credits. I'll tell you something else, they better want to buy my fucking superconductors after this, because this is a piss take. Oh, just to let you know, I've also gained another rank in my Federation rank, so I'm now a midshipman. I have a feeling the next rank will be ensign, which will allow me to, if I wanted to, buy the Federation dropship, if I have the credits for it. But if I had to do that, had to do this trade run to Hutton Orbital again, in order to get it, they can stick it up their arse. I mean, this is a fucking joke. So there you go, my good deed of the millennium is to warn you that under no circumstances whatsoever accept a mission to deliver anything to Hutton Orbital in Alpha Centauri, because it will take you a monumentally long time to get there. My ship fuel it's needed to refuel from the main tank twice. So if you have something like, say, a Sidewinder or an Eagle, you would have run out of fuel by now. In fact, if you had a Sidewinder or Eagle, then even if the game crashed once you arrived here, so that you got back your hyperspace fuel, you would still run out of fuel before you got to the end. Long before you get to the end. So you need a ship that has, I would say, at least a 16-ton fuel tank, just to be able to do this, because the 4-ton that the Eagle and Sidewinder have is nowhere near enough. I have my doubts about the 8-ton, certainly when you throw in the hyperspace jump as well. I have my doubts about the 8-ton fuel tank. My brain has turned to absolute mush from sitting here, so I can't think of any ships that have an 8-ton. I'm guessing the Hauler and the Adder do, maybe the Viper does. I'm not sure what else. So yeah, you will need a minimum 16-ton. Thankfully the Asp has a 32-ton. I say thankfully, I mean, if I'd had any sense and if I'd thought about it, I would have just hyperspaced out of here, found a system with a black market, you know, dumped my haulage to, you know, into that black market and paid off the fine, because this is so there you go. I'll end this now. That's my second good deed of the millennium, so you don't have to sit through any more of this fucking thing. Currently at 1,821 times 822 times the speed of light, and it's still going to take over half an hour to get there. So this is a monumentally bored Commander Lucosa signing off. Well, the speed peaked at 1,866 times the speed of light. We are at, we've just got to 0.1 light year, which means we have just passed the halfway point. The deceleration has started, despite being some 29, well, we were half hour away from it when we got to this stage. I will come back when we are getting a bit closer. Well, the distance is now being measured in light seconds. There is a mere 3 million to go. Are we there yet? We're getting through it. One other thing that I forgot to mention, and let's face it, I've got plenty of time to mention it now. I did do a change to my weapons loadout. So I now have, well, I still have 4 pulse lasers, but now they're all class 1 gimbal pulse lasers. And my class 2s are the gimbal cannons. So essentially I switched me class 1 gimbal cannons and class 2 gimbal pulse lasers around. So the pulse lasers will now do slightly less damage than before, but this time they'll all overheat at the same time instead of the class 2s overheating while the class 1s are still firing away quite happily. And the cannons will do a lot more damage, so when I come up against ships that mean I'll need to use cannons on them, so something like an ASP or bigger, then these cannons will do more damage than the previous ones, obviously. And priorities, well, I did have to change them a bit, but only to put everything right again, so all of my weapons are again in priority 3, which is where I always put the weapons, apart from the kill warrant scanner, which for some reason is classed as a weapon, but it doesn't actually fire anything, so that goes in 4 with all the miscellaneous guff. So there you go. So yeah, that's another change. The weapons loadout's changed a bit. Well, I'm slowing quite dramatically now. I'm only doing 1,765 times the speed of light, and now I am just a mere 2,500,000 light seconds away, almost within reaching distance. Right, I'll be back with another update. Right, I'm bored enough to do another update, even though there's not really much to say. Well, we are below 2 million light seconds now. Still decelerating, now doing a mere 1,655 times the speed of light. According to the ETA, we will be there in 18.5 minutes. I have an hour still to do this mission. It feels like I've already been doing this mission for the best part of a week, and this really makes me wish that I had a desk big enough for 2 monitors so that I could at least be doing something productive on the second monitor while waiting for this shit. And I do have a spare monitor as well. In fact, thinking about it, it'll be a hell of a tight squeeze, but I may possibly be able to fit the other monitor. Now, it doesn't help that monitors are rather large. This one that I use is a 28-inch. The other monitor that I've got spare is either a 22 or a 24. I don't think this desk is big enough. It'll be hanging over the edge somewhat, which will make getting in and out of the room a bit tricky. Can you tell that my mind is seriously not on the game at the moment? Anyway, well, we're down to less than 1.7 million now. Oh, we really are in touching distance. Alright, well, more when it happens, or when I get bored enough. Well, we are below 1 million light seconds, which is just as well, because I have the words Hutton Orbital burned into my retina. This particular star field in front of me, I can still see it when I close my eyes, and I feel like I'm getting deep vein thrombosis. But it's still going on, and there is a little over 10 minutes supposedly before we get there. Still very gradually decelerating. We're now down to 1,413 C, and I'm losing the will to live. We now have 50 minutes to get there. And if this game crashes when I come out of Super Cruise, I will personally stab David Braben in the neck with a bayonet. Well, we're now below 500,000. Still doing significantly more than 1000 C, 1189. Deceleration rate has increased a bit. We have 6.5 minutes. Still well on course time wise, 45 minutes left. But this has been fucking horrific. Actually, while I'm here, notice the supposed fixed text chat still not working. Let's try it again. So this is going to Commander O'Hara. Text chat working now. Nothing. There you go, unable to connect, even though it's clearly showing them online. Let's try Daddy07, who has commented on at least one of my videos. He hasn't got it. And Andy Pipkin, who I sent one to earlier, didn't get his. So text chat, contrary to what Frontier Development said, is not working at all. I cannot text chat with anybody, and for you know, any brainless fanboy or Frontier Developments. Okay, so Daddy07 can write to me. I wonder if he knew that I was sending anything to him, but I can't. Oh, okay. So because he wrote to me, I can now reply. Text chat is fucked. And right, well, we are now approaching just 250,000 to go. I'll be back once it's, well, closer. Right, we are fast approaching the end of this journey, which has taken 1 hour and 25 minutes. But at least I've now found out that text chat works providing the person writes to me first. If I try writing to them first, it don't work. Now we're into the hundreds. It is at long last coming to an end. Proxima Centauri looks like being just a brown dwarf, albeit rather bright for a brown dwarf, but this orbiting station is very close to it, and I'm, believe it or not, look like I'm about to overshoot it because my concentration has seriously gone down the shitter after enduring that horrendous fucking trip. Nah, that's not a brown dwarf. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's far too bright to be a brown dwarf. Now into megameters. I can barely remember how to fly this thing. I have a lot of editing to do with all these different bits of this video to put together into one. But at long, long last, we are here. I dread to think how much refueling has cost. It's just refueled itself for, it's either the 5th or 6th time.
Docking request granted.
The thing is, I barely make out any of the station because it's so dark. I can't see which end of the platform I'm approaching. I'm surely coming at it from the wrong angle. In fact, I'm coming at it, okay, well I will be coming at it from the right side, but I'm approaching it upside down, as it were. Anyway, put the landing gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
I have never been so pleased to land
Docking successful.
anywhere.
Engines disengaged.
But here we are. I'm surprised that it's only cost 1,657. I am not surprised that despite not having been involved in any skirmishes of any kind, that I do need to do repairs. In fact, I suspect when I go to the wear and tear, holy shit, 298,000 in wear and tear that's cost me to do a mission that's only paid 14,000. So that was absolutely a waste of time and money. Right, commodities market. Will they buy my... oh, for fuck's sake. So I would make an enormous loss if I buy superconductors here. But I will buy the rare goods here. At least I've got something makes it worthwhile, so when I eventually piss off out here and probably go back to Lathe, I should make decent money on that. It might make up for the enormous amount I've had to shell out to repair the ship for this fucking journey. So I made an enormous loss on this one. over 220,000 credits lost on this. So if the tedium of the ridiculously long journey wasn't enough, you've also seen just how badly the wear and tear hits you, and yeah, so that just is, you know, the final nail in the coffin. Whatever you do, do not accept any missions to take you to Hutton Orbital, because it simply is not worth it in any way, shape or form. So I am extremely pleased to say that brings this one to an end. So this is Commander Lucosa signing off.